Tonight, you don't have to hold anything together. You don't have to solve anything, and you don't have to be strong for anyone, because in this moment, right here, you are allowed to finally let go. There is nothing you need to prove, nowhere you need to go, no expectations waiting for you, just a quiet space, a gentle presence, and the soft permission to surrender completely and effortlessly. So before we go any further, just notice your breath, not changing it, not controlling it, just noticing the slow rise and the gentle fall, like waves coming in and drifting back out again and again. And as you listen to my voice, you may begin to feel something subtle, something almost invisible, a quiet unwinding, as if the weight you've been carrying all day is beginning to loosen its grip little by little. Maybe you didn't even realize how much you were holding, the tension in your shoulders, the tightness in your chest, the constant hum in your thoughts, always moving, always doing, never quite resting. But tonight is different. Tonight, you are stepping into a space where nothing is required of you, a space where your body can soften, your mind can slow down, and your entire being can gently return to itself. You don't need to force sleep. You don't need to chase it, because the deeper truth is, sleep comes naturally when you stop holding on. And right now, we are beginning that process together. Imagine, just for a moment, that everything you've been carrying, every worry, every thought, every piece of tension, is like sand held in your hands, and the tighter you hold it, the more exhausting it becomes. But what happens when you simply open your hands slowly, gently, allowing it all to fall away? Feel that soft release, that quiet sense of relief. You don't have to carry it anymore. And as your body begins to understand this, you may notice small changes, your jaw unclenching, your shoulders dropping, your breath becoming deeper, slower, calmer, as if your entire system is finally receiving the message. It's okay now, you can rest. And the more you allow this feeling, the deeper it goes, like a wave of calm, moving from the top of your head, down through your face, your neck, your chest, your arms, your stomach, your legs, all the way down to your feet, washing over you, gently, completely, releasing what no longer needs to be held, because you deserve rest, not just surface level rest, but deep, healing, restorative rest, the kind of rest that doesn't just relax your body, but resets your entire being. And tonight, that's exactly what we are inviting in. A deeper kind of sleep, the kind where your body begins to repair, your mind begins to quiet, and your inner world begins to rebalance itself, naturally, effortlessly. You don't need to know how it happens. You don't need to figure it out. Your body already knows. It has always known. And now all you're doing is getting out of the way, allowing that natural intelligence to take over. So as you continue to listen, let your awareness soften. There's no need to focus too hard, no need to stay alert. In fact, the less you try, the deeper you'll go. And if your thoughts begin to wander, that's perfectly okay. Just let them drift, like clouds in a night sky, coming, going, dissolving on their own. You don't need to follow them. You don't need to hold on to them. Just let them pass, and gently return to the sound of my voice. Let it guide you. Let it carry you like a soft current, moving you towards stillness, toward quiet, towards sleep. And somewhere, deep inside, a shift is already happening, even if you don't notice it yet, even if it feels subtle. Your body is beginning to trust this moment. Your nervous system is beginning to settle, and that quiet tension you've been holding is starting to melt away, layer by layer, breath by breath, until there is nothing left to hold, nothing left to manage, nothing left to control, just you, resting, floating, letting go. And as this feeling deepens, you may begin to sense a kind of heaviness, or maybe lightness, a pleasant drifting sensation, as if your body is sinking deeper into the surface beneath you, supported, safe, completely held, and the more you allow this, the more natural it becomes. Because surrender is not something you force, it's something you allow. It happens in the space between effort, in the quiet moments where you stop trying and start trusting. So tonight, trust this process. Trust your body. Trust the gentle rhythm of your breath, and trust that sleep is already on its way to you, slowly, softly, inevitably. There is nowhere else to go from here, except deeper, deeper into calm, deeper into stillness, deeper into rest. And as we continue, you'll find that everything begins to slow, your thoughts becoming softer, quieter, more distant, your body becoming heavier, more relaxed, more at ease, and your awareness gently drifting like a feather carried by a calm night breeze. There's nothing to do, nothing to fix, nothing to change. Just listen, just breathe, just be, and allow this moment to hold you as you begin to surrender completely and drift effortlessly into a deep healing sleep as your breath begins to slow and your body starts to soften. You may notice a gentle shift within you, like the first quiet step into surrender, where nothing is rushed and everything begins to unfold naturally and without even trying. You're already doing it, already arriving, already moving into a space where the outside world begins to fade, just a little. So take a moment and simply notice the air moving in through your nose, cool, soft, unforced, and then slowly leaving your body warm, gentle, releasing, and again breathing in and out. Nothing to change, nothing to control, just observing, just allowing. And as you continue to listen, you might begin to feel a subtle difference, something small, almost unnoticeable at first, but real, a quiet unwinding, like your body is remembering something it almost forgot, how to truly rest. Maybe your shoulders begin to drop just a little more, your jaw unclenches, your forehead smooths out, and your eyes, even if they're already closed, feel softer, heavier, more relaxed, as if they no longer need to stay alert. And that's right. There's nothing here you need to stay alert for, nothing to react to, nothing to prepare for. This moment is yours, completely yours, a space where you are safe, where you are supported, where you can finally let go. And you don't have to force that feeling. You don't have to make it happen, because the more you try, the further it feels. But the more you simply allow, the closer it comes. So just let yourself be here, listening, breathing, existing. And as your breath continues its slow, steady rhythm, you may begin to notice the space between each inhale and each exhale. That tiny pause, that quiet stillness where nothing is happening, that space is where surrender begins. That space is where your body starts to shift. And as you gently rest your awareness there, in that soft pause, you may feel a deeper sense of calm beginning to grow, not all at once, not suddenly, but gradually, like a slow wave rising from somewhere deep within you, spreading outward, touching every part of your body. And as that wave moves, it carries with it a sense of ease, a sense of release, as if everything you've been holding all day, maybe even longer, is finally being given permission to soften, to loosen, to fade. You don't have to hold it anymore. You don't have to keep it together. You don't have to carry the weight of everything you've been managing. Not right now. Right now, you can simply rest. And the more you allow yourself to rest, the more your body begins to respond. Your breathing becomes deeper, slower, more natural. Your heartbeat steadies, softens, finding a calm rhythm, and your muscles, one by one, begin to release, starting from the top of your head, a gentle softening in your scalp, your forehead smoothing, your eyebrows relaxing, your eyes heavy, resting effortlessly in their sockets, your cheeks soft, your jaw unclenched, your tongue resting comfortably, and as that relaxation spreads down into your neck, you may feel a subtle shift, like a quiet letting go, a release of tension you didn't even realize was there, and it continues, flowing into your shoulders where so much weight is often held. Allow them to drop just a little more, as if gravity itself is gently pulling them down, helping you release, helping you surrender, and from there it moves into your arms, down through your elbows, your forearms, your hands, all the way to your fingertips, a soft wave of calm, moving through you, slowly, steadily, and with each breath out, you may feel yourself sinking deeper, further into relaxation, further into stillness, further into a space where nothing else matters. And as your body continues to unwind, your mind begins to follow. Thoughts that once felt loud, urgent, constant, begin to quiet down. They don't disappear all at once, but they soften, they slow, they lose their intensity, like distant echoes, fading further and further away, and you don't need to chase them or push them away. Just let them be, let them come and go on their own, because right now your only focus is this moment, this breath, this gentle unfolding, and as you stay here, present, aware, you may begin to feel a deeper sense of trust. Trust in your body, trust in this process, trust that everything is happening exactly as it should, even if you don't fully understand it, even if it feels subtle, even if part of your mind is still holding on. That's okay. You don't have to force anything. You don't have to let go all at once. Surrender happens in layers, slowly, gently, naturally, and each time you exhale, you release just a little more tension, a little more control, a little more effort, until eventually there's nothing left to hold. And in that space, something beautiful begins to happen. Your body begins to feel lighter or maybe heavier in a comforting way. Your mind becomes quieter, softer, more distant, and your awareness begins to drift, not completely gone, just gently floating like you're being carried by something soft, something calm. And the more you allow this feeling, the deeper it becomes, like sinking into a warm bed after a long day, supported, held, completely at ease. And as this sense of ease spreads through you, you may begin to notice something else, a quiet sense of safety, a feeling that, in this moment, you are okay. You are safe to rest, safe to let go, safe to drift. And that feeling is what allows your body to truly relax, to move beyond surface level rest into something deeper, something more restorative, more healing. And you don't have to do anything to make that happen. It's already beginning, right now, with each breath, with each moment you choose to stay, to listen, to allow. And as you continue on this gentle path, You may notice your awareness becoming softer, less focused, more open, like you're no longer trying to hold on to anything, no longer trying to stay in control, just floating, drifting, allowing yourself to be carried. And that's exactly where you need to be. There's nothing ahead you need to reach, no destination you need to arrive at, because the deeper you go, the more you realize you're already there, already in the space of surrender, already moving into rest, already beginning to sleep. And as that realization settles in, your body responds even more, sinking deeper, letting go further, releasing completely. And your breath continues its slow, steady rhythm, guiding you gently, effortlessly, into the next layer of calm, the next level of stillness, the next step in this journey of surrender. And without even noticing when it happens, you begin to drift just a little more, just a little deeper, carried by your breath, supported by stillness, and held in a quiet, endless calm. And as that soft awareness deepens, you might begin to feel the weight of the day gently loosening, like layers beginning to fall away, without effort, without resistance, just slowly, melting into ease, as if something within you has quietly decided that it's time now, time to stop holding, time to stop carrying, time to finally rest. You don't have to go searching for that feeling. It's already here, already beginning, in the smallest, most subtle ways. Maybe it starts with your breath becoming a little slower now, a little deeper, not forced, just naturally finding its rhythm, like your body is guiding itself gently, patiently into calm. And with every soft exhale, there's a quiet release, almost like your body is sighing, letting go of something it no longer needs to hold. You might not even know what that something is. You don't have to, because your body knows, your mind knows, even if it's beneath the surface. And as you continue to listen, you may begin to notice that the heaviness you carried earlier, the thoughts, the tension, the subtle stress sitting in the background, is no longer as strong. It's still there, maybe, but softer now, quieter, like it's drifting further away. And that's the beginning of layers dissolving, not all at once, not in a rush, but slowly, gently, in a way that feels safe, in a way that feels natural. Because real rest doesn't come from forcing yourself to relax. It comes from allowing what is already ready to release, to simply fall away. So just for a moment, imagine that everything you experience today, every conversation, every task, every thought, every emotion, is gently placed in front of you, not inside you anymore, not something you have to carry, just something you can observe from a distance. And as you see it there, you may begin to realize you don't need to hold on to it. You don't need to keep replaying it. You don't need to solve it tonight. It can wait. Everything can wait. Because right now, your only job is to rest. And as that realization settles in, something begins to shift even more deeply. Your chest softens, your stomach releases, your back loosens, gently, naturally, as if your entire body is responding to that one simple truth: I don't have to carry this right now. And the moment you allow that, even just a little, the layers begin to fall, one by one, gently, effortlessly, like leaves drifting down from a tree. in the quiet of night. There's no rush, no urgency, just a natural release. And as each layer falls away, you may feel a growing sense of space within you, a lightness, a quiet openness, as if there is more room now, inside your body, inside your mind, room to breathe, room to rest, room to simply be. And in that space, your awareness begins to soften even more. You're not holding on to thoughts the same way, not reacting to them, not following them. They may still come, but they pass through more easily now, like clouds drifting across a wide open sky. And you are not the clouds, you are the sky, spacious, still, unaffected. And as you rest in that spaciousness, the weight of the day continues to loosen. Moments that once felt heavy begin to feel distant. Emotions that once felt strong begin to fade, not because you're pushing them away, but because you're no longer holding them in place. You're allowing them to move, to shift, to dissolve. And that's where true release begins. Not in control, but in letting go of control and trusting that what needs to fall away will fall away in its own time, in its own way. And as you continue to breathe slowly, gently, you may begin to feel that sense of ease spreading even further down into your arms, where any remaining tension begins to soften, into your hands, your fingers, loosening, relaxing, down through your hips, your legs, your knees, your calves, all the way into your feet, every part of you slowly unwinding, as if your body is exhaling, completely, letting go of the last bits of effort, the last bits of holding. And as that happens, your mind begins to quiet even more, the space between thoughts becoming longer, the thoughts themselves becoming softer, less important, less demanding, and you may find yourself caring less about following them, less interested in where they go, more comfortable just letting them be and returning again and again to the sound of my voice, to the rhythm of your breath, to this moment, because this moment is where everything begins to settle, where everything begins to soften, where everything begins to return to balance. And as you stay here, just listening, just breathing, you may begin to notice a deeper layer of release, something beneath the surface, something that doesn't have words, but you can feel it, a quiet shift, a deeper letting go, like your body is releasing things it's been holding for longer than just today. And again, you don't need to understand it, you don't need to analyze it, just let it happen, let it move, let it dissolve, because your body knows how to heal. It knows how to release. It knows how to come back to a state of calm, of rest, of balance. And right now, you are giving it the space to do exactly that, without interruption, without pressure, without expectation, just gentle, steady surrender. And the more you allow this process, the deeper it goes, the more layers fall away, the more space opens up, the more ease you begin to feel, until eventually what once felt heavy is no longer there. What once felt tight is now soft. What once felt overwhelming is now distant. And all that remains is this quiet, peaceful presence, this gentle awareness, this soft, steady calm. And as you rest in that calm, your body continues to sink deeper into the surface beneath you, more supported, more held, as if you are being gently carried, not needing to do anything, not needing to go anywhere, just floating, drifting, allowing. And with each breath, you move a little deeper, a little further, into that space where everything becomes quieter, slower, softer, where the outside world fades even more, and your inner world becomes the only thing that matters. And in that inner world, there is peace, there is stillness, there is rest, and you are moving closer to it with every moment, with every breath, with every layer that falls away, until eventually there is nothing left to hold, nothing left to carry, nothing left to do, just this gentle, effortless surrender guiding you softly into the next layer of calm, the next step of this journey, where your body continues to let go and your awareness begins to drift even deeper into stillness. As those layers continue to dissolve, your body may begin to feel heavier, more supported, as if the surface beneath you is holding you more fully now, inviting you to go even deeper. And there's a quiet comfort in that feeling, a gentle reassurance that you don't have to hold yourself up anymore, you don't have to stay alert, you don't have to be ready for anything, because right now you are completely safe to rest. So just notice how your body meets the surface beneath you, the way your weight is distributed, the subtle pressure points, where you are being supported, held, carried. And as you bring your awareness there, you may begin to feel that support more clearly, more deeply, as if the ground beneath you is becoming softer, more welcoming, gently receiving you without resistance, and you can allow yourself to trust that support. You can allow yourself to give your weight to it just a little more, letting go of the need to hold yourself up, letting go of the small unconscious tensions that keep you slightly lifted, slightly guarded, and instead you begin to sink slowly, gently, effortlessly, as if gravity itself is guiding you downward into comfort, into stillness. And as you sink, your body responds. Muscles that were still holding on begin to release. Tiny areas of tightness you may not have noticed before begin to soften. Your back relaxes further, spreading out, settling. Your hips grow heavier, deeper into the surface. Your legs, your knees, your calves, your feet, all letting go one by one, and with each small release, there's a quiet sense of relief, like your body is finally being allowed to rest completely, and you don't have to make that happen. It's already happening. All you're doing is allowing it. And as you continue to allow, your breath begins to guide you even deeper. Each inhale gently expanding, each exhale inviting you to sink further, further into the support beneath you, further into that feeling of being held. And you may begin to notice that with every breath out, your body drops just a little more. Your shoulders sink, your chest softens, your entire weight settling deeper, as if the surface beneath you is slowly rising to meet you, supporting you more completely, holding you fully. And as that sense of support deepens, something else begins to shift. A quiet sense of trust. Trust that you don't have to stay in control. Trust that you don't have to manage every sensation. Trust that you can simply let go and be held. And the more you allow that trust, the deeper your body relaxes, because your body is always listening, always responding, and when it feels safe, when it feels supported, it begins to let go naturally. So just notice that feeling now, the feeling of being held, not just physically, but completely, as if every part of you is being supported, your body, your breath, your awareness, all gently held in this moment. And as you rest in that feeling, your mind begins to quiet even further. Thoughts become softer, more distant, like whispers, fading into the background, and your attention naturally returns to the sensation of your body, the heaviness, the stillness, the gentle pull downward, and you may begin to feel as if your body is becoming heavier with each breath, not in a way that's uncomfortable, but in a way that feels grounding, calming, reassuring, like you're settling into the earth, becoming part of something stable, something steady. And there's no need to resist that feeling, no need to stay light or alert. You can let yourself become heavy, you can let yourself sink, because the deeper you sink, the more your body relaxes, the more your mind quiets, the more you move into that space where rest becomes effortless. And as this heaviness grows, you may begin to notice a subtle shift in your awareness. It becomes softer, less defined, as if the edges of your body are gently fading, blending into the space around you. There's less separation, less distinction, just a soft sense of being, floating, and yet grounded at the same time. And that's a beautiful place to be, a place where effort disappears, where control is no longer needed, where everything simply is. And as you stay here, in this soft, heavy, supported state, your breath continues its slow rhythm, guiding you deeper. Each inhale, gentle, each exhale, releasing, and with every exhale, you sink a little more, your body melting into the surface beneath you, as if you are being absorbed gently, safely into comfort. And the more you allow this, the more natural it becomes, because this is what your body has been waiting for. A moment to stop, a moment to release, a moment to simply rest. And now it's happening, without force, without effort, just a quiet, steady surrender. And as you continue to sink deeper and deeper, you may begin to feel as if time itself is slowing down, moments stretching, becoming softer, longer, as if there is no urgency anymore, no rush, just this, endless, gentle now. And in this space, everything feels easier. Breathing feels easier, relaxing feels easier, letting go feels easier, because you are no longer trying, you are no longer holding, you are simply allowing, and that allowing is what carries you deeper, deeper into stillness, deeper into calm, deeper into rest. And as your body continues to feel heavier, more supported, more at ease, your awareness begins to drift even further, becoming softer, quieter, less attached, as if you are slowly moving away from the surface of wakefulness and into something deeper, something calmer, something more peaceful. And you don't have to do anything to get there, because you're already moving, already drifting, already sinking, guided by your breath, supported by stillness, held by the quiet, gentle presence of this moment. And as you continue to let go, just a little more, just a little deeper, you begin to notice that everything is becoming softer, quieter, more distant, until there is only this feeling of being held, of being supported, of being completely at ease. And from this place, it becomes even easier to drift further into the next layer of calm, where your breath will guide you deeper, and your awareness will soften even more. As you continue this gentle journey into rest, and as you allow yourself to sink further, your breath becomes softer, quieter, almost like a lullaby, gently guiding your mind away from noise and closer to stillness, each inhale arriving so gently, as if it doesn't want to disturb the calm, and each exhale leaving so slowly, as if it's carrying away the last traces of effort. You may begin to notice that you're no longer breathing on purpose. Your body has taken over, finding a rhythm that feels just right, smooth, even, effortless, like a tide that knows exactly when to rise and when to fall, and there's something deeply comforting in that, something reassuring, because it means you don't have to do anything now, not even breathe. Your body is already doing it for you, perfectly. So just listen to the quiet sound of your breath. Maybe it's barely noticeable, maybe it's soft, like a whisper, like a gentle wind moving through still air, in and out, slow and easy. And as you stay with that rhythm, your mind begins to follow. Thoughts that once felt busy, scattered, begin to slow down, as if they're being lulled into calm by the steady repetition of your breath. You don't have to silence them. You don't have to push them away. Your breath will take care of that. Naturally, gently, without force. And with each passing moment, the space between your thoughts grows wider, quieter, more peaceful, like long stretches of stillness between soft waves. And in those spaces, you begin to feel something deeper, a sense of quiet, not just around you, but within you, a stillness that feels safe, that feels welcoming, that feels like home. And your breath continues to guide you there. Each inhale opening a soft doorway into calm, each exhale carrying you further inside, deeper and deeper. And as you follow this gentle rhythm, you may begin to feel your entire body moving with it, rising slightly with each breath in and falling gently with each breath out, a slow, soothing motion, like you're being rocked softly back and forth, like a lullaby your body understands, without needing words. And the more you notice this, the more your awareness begins to merge with it. You're no longer separate from your breath. You are the breath, flowing, drifting, moving without effort, and your mind continues to quiet, not because you're trying, but because there's nothing left to hold on to, no urgency, no need to think ahead, no need to go back, just this moment, this breath, this soft, endless rhythm. And as this rhythm deepens, your awareness becomes lighter, softer, less defined, almost like it's floating just above your body, gently swaying, carried by each breath. And that floating feeling is safe, it's calm, it's natural. You can trust it. You can let yourself drift with it, further away from noise, further away from effort, closer and closer to stillness. And your breath continues, steady, slow, like a quiet guide, leading you deeper, not in a rush, never forcing, just gently inviting you to follow. And you do, without trying, without thinking, just allowing. And as you allow, your body relaxes even more. Any remaining tension begins to soften, melt, dissolve. Your chest feels open, easy, your stomach loose, at ease, your whole body moving in harmony with the rise and fall of your breath. And it feels so natural, so effortless, like this is how it was always meant to be. And maybe, for the first time today, you're not trying to control anything. You're not managing or fixing or adjusting. You're simply being, breathing, resting. And that's enough, more than enough. And as this sense of enoughness settles in, your mind lets go even more. Thoughts become faint, like distant echoes, barely there, barely forming. And when they do appear, they drift away just as easily, carried off by the same gentle rhythm that's guiding your breath. And you don't follow them, you don't need to, because there's nothing in them that you need right now, nothing more important than this calm, this stillness, this quiet unfolding. And your breath continues like a soft anchor, keeping you grounded, even as your awareness drifts, keeping you calm, even as you move deeper. And with each slow exhale, you may feel yourself slipping just a little further as if the edges of wakefulness are softening, blurring, fading, and sleep is beginning to draw closer, not suddenly, not all at once, but gradually, like the dimming of light. At the end of the day, soft, gentle, inevitable, and your breath is the bridge carrying you from here into that deeper space where your mind can finally rest, where your body can fully restore, where everything slows and softens and lets go, and you don't have to think about it. You don't have to make it happen. It's already happening right now, with every breath, with every moment you allow yourself to stay, to listen, to drift. And as you continue, your breath becomes even softer, even quieter, almost fading into the background, as if it's becoming part of the silence, part of the stillness, and you may barely notice it now, but it's there, steady, calm, guiding you deeper, further, into a place where everything feels distant, everything feels soft, everything feels at peace, and you are carried there effortlessly by the gentle lullaby of your own breath, moving you slowly, steadily into the next layer of calm, where stillness deepens and your awareness continues to drift closer and closer to sleep. In this quiet stillness, your thoughts may begin to drift, slowing down, spreading out like clouds in a calm night sky, no longer needing your attention, just passing by. And you don't have to follow any of them. You don't have to hold on to a single one, because each thought as it appears can simply move along. Just imagine that sky for a moment, wide, open, endless, stretching far beyond anything you can see. And in that sky, thoughts appear like soft clouds, forming gently, floating slowly, and then dissolving on their own. Some clouds may seem a little heavier at first. Maybe a thought tries to pull your attention. Maybe it feels familiar, something from earlier today, or something unfinished. But even those clouds don't stay. They move, they shift, they fade. And you don't need to do anything to make that happen. Because just like clouds, thoughts are not meant to stay still. They are meant to pass. And the more you allow them to pass, the more space you begin to feel, more openness, more quiet, more calm. And in that space, something changes. Your relationship with your thoughts becomes softer, less attached, less reactive. You're no longer inside them, you're simply aware of them, watching as they drift across the sky of your mind. And as you rest in that awareness, you may begin to feel a gentle distance growing, separation between you and the constant movement of thinking, and that distance is peaceful, because in that distance there is no pressure, no urgency, no need to respond, just stillness, just presence, just you resting quietly beneath an open sky. And as that sky becomes clearer, you may notice longer stretches of empty space, moments where no thoughts appear at all, just silence, soft, steady silence. And at first, that silence may feel unfamiliar, maybe even surprising, but then it begins to feel comforting, like a quiet place you've always had within you, but rarely visited. And now you're here, just resting in it, allowing it, letting it expand. And with every breath, that silence grows deeper. The gaps between thoughts widen, the clouds thin out, the sky becomes clearer, and your mind begins to settle. Not because you're trying to quiet it, but because you're no longer feeding it with attention. You're no longer holding on to each thought. You're letting them pass naturally, and in doing so, you're creating space. Space for calm, space for stillness, space for rest. And as that space continues to open, your awareness softens even more. You may begin to feel as if you're gently drifting within that sky, floating, weightless, carried by a soft sense of ease. There's no direction, no destination, just a quiet drifting, and it feels safe, it feels calm, it feels natural. And as you drift, the last few thoughts that appear seem lighter now, less defined, almost transparent. They come and go so easily that you barely notice them anymore, because your attention is no longer drawn to them. Your attention is resting in the quiet, resting in the space between, resting in the stillness. And that stillness begins to feel like something more, not just an absence of thought, but a presence, a gentle, steady, peaceful presence that holds you, that surrounds you, that allows you to fully relax. And as you rest in that presence, your body responds, your breathing becomes even softer, your muscles even looser, your entire system slowing down, settling deeper, and your mind continues to quiet until thoughts are no longer something you notice often. They become rare, faint, distant, like echoes far away, and you remain here in this open space, this quiet sky, this calm awareness, where nothing needs your attention, nothing needs your effort, nothing needs to be done. And as you stay here, just drifting, just resting, you may begin to feel a deeper pull, a gentle invitation to go even further, further into stillness, further into calm, further into rest, and you don't resist it, you don't question it, you simply follow, because it feels right, it feels safe, it feels like exactly where you need to be. And as you follow that gentle pull, the sky becomes even more still, even more quiet, almost like time itself has slowed down, or maybe even paused. There is no rush here, no movement that needs to happen, just a soft, endless now. And within that now, you are completely at ease, completely relaxed, completely free from the noise of constant thinking. And as you remain in this quiet stillness, your awareness continues to drift, becoming softer, lighter, more distant, as if you're slowly moving beyond the surface of your mind and into something deeper, something more peaceful, something more restful. And in that deeper space, thoughts no longer reach you. They no longer pull you. They simply pass far above, like clouds you no longer need to see, because you are resting beneath them now, in a place of calm, of silence, of stillness. And from this place, it becomes even easier to let go completely, to release the last traces of effort, to allow your mind to fully rest. And as that happens, you begin to drift even further, carried by the quiet, guided by the stillness, moving gently into the next layer of calm, where your awareness softens even more and sleep begins to draw closer. And as those thoughts fade into the distance, a deeper sense of calm begins to rise, filling the space within you, where tension once lived, now replaced with gentle ease, like a quiet tide moving in, slowly, steadily, bringing with it a softness you don't have to create, a stillness you don't have to chase. It's already here, already growing, already becoming more present with every breath you take. You may begin to notice it first in subtle ways, a quiet warmth in your chest, a soft loosening in your stomach, a gentle openness spreading through your body, as if something inside you is finally exhaling, fully, completely, for the first time in a long while. And you don't have to question it, you don't have to analyze it, just feel it, just allow it to be there, because this calm, it isn't something outside of you, it's something that's always been within you, waiting, patiently, for the moment you would slow down enough to notice it. And now you are noticing. Now you are allowing. And that changes everything, because when calm begins to rise from within, it doesn't feel forced. It doesn't feel temporary. It feels natural, steady, real, like a deep, quiet knowing that in this moment you are okay. Nothing is wrong. Nothing is missing. Everything can simply be as it is. And as you rest in that feeling, the calm continues to grow, expanding gently, reaching into places that once felt tight, places that once held tension, and softening them slowly, patiently. Your chest feels more open now, your breathing more fluid, your shoulders lighter, as if the weight they carried has quietly slipped away, and even deeper, beneath the surface, your body is responding, your nervous system beginning to settle, shifting out of that constant state of alertness and into something much softer, much safer, a state where rest is possible, where healing can begin. And you don't have to do anything to make that happen, because your body knows. It knows exactly how to return to balance when you give it the space. And right now, you are giving it that space with every breath, with every moment of stillness, with every choice to simply stay here and listen. And as you continue to stay, that calm becomes more noticeable, more present, almost like a gentle glow, spreading through your entire being, not bright, not overwhelming, just soft, steady, comforting, and it begins to replace what was there before. Where there was tension, now there is ease. Where there was noise, now there is quiet. Where there was effort, now there is softness. And this shift happens so naturally, you may not even realize how deeply it's affecting you. But your body feels it, your mind feels it. Every part of you is responding to this calm, allowing it, welcoming it. And as that happens, your awareness begins to settle even deeper. You're no longer drawn outward, no longer pulled by distractions. You're moving inward now, gently, naturally, into a space that feels safe, a space that feels quiet, a space that feels like rest. And in that space, the calm continues to rise. Not in waves anymore, but like a steady presence, always there, always supporting you, always holding you in this gentle state of ease. And the more you notice it, the more it grows, the more you allow it, the deeper it becomes, until it feels like it's everywhere, surrounding you, filling you, holding you completely. And there's nothing you need to add to it, nothing you need to change, because this calm is enough. It's more than enough. And as you rest in it, your body continues to soften, your breath continues to slow, your mind continues to quiet, everything moving in the same direction, toward stillness, toward rest, toward sleep. And you may begin to feel a gentle heaviness returning, not from tension, but from relaxation, a soft weight spreading through your body, grounding you, anchoring you, keeping you connected, even as your awareness begins to drift. And that heaviness feels good. It feels comforting. It feels like your body is finally letting go completely, and you don't resist it. You welcome it. You allow it to deepen, because with every bit of heaviness comes more release, more ease, more calm. And as that calm continues to rise, your thoughts become even quieter, almost gone now. Just the faintest movement, far in the background, no longer pulling you, no longer needing your attention. because your attention is here, resting in this calm, resting in this stillness, resting in this gentle, quiet presence. And from here, everything becomes easier. Letting go becomes easier. Drifting becomes easier. Sleeping becomes easier, because there is nothing in the way anymore, nothing holding you back, nothing keeping you from going deeper. And as you stay in this calm, you may begin to feel a gentle pull, a soft invitation to go even further, further into rest, further into stillness, further into sleep. And you follow that invitation naturally, without thinking, without effort, just allowing yourself to drift, to soften, to surrender even more. And as you do, the calm deepens again, becoming quieter, slower, more profound, until it feels like you are resting in something endless, something timeless, a space where nothing disturbs you, nothing reaches you, nothing needs to be done. Just this quiet, steady, calm, holding you, guiding you, carrying you gently into the next layer of stillness, where your body continues to soften, your mind continues to fade, and your awareness drifts even deeper towards sleep. As that calm continues to flow through you, your body begins to feel safe, deeply safe, as if every cell is being reassured that it can finally rest completely, without holding back, without preparing for anything, without staying on guard. And in that safety, something beautiful begins to happen. Your system starts to relax in a way that is deeper than surface comfort, deeper than ordinary rest. It feels like a quiet unlocking, a gentle permission to let go of everything that is not needed right now. So just notice that feeling of safety, of stillness, of being supported. There is nothing here that can harm you, nothing here that you need to react to, nothing here that you need to fix. Just this moment, just this breath, just this quiet space where you are allowed to fully soften. And as you stay with that sense of safety, your body begins to respond even more. The muscles that were still holding a subtle tension begin to release. Your breathing becomes smoother, more natural. Your heartbeat steady, calm, almost like a soft background rhythm guiding you deeper. And your entire nervous system starts to shift, slowly, gently, moving away from alertness and into restoration. You don't have to guide that shift. You don't have to control it. It's already happening, naturally, effortlessly, because your body knows exactly how to return to balance when it feels safe enough to do so. And right now, you are giving it that safety through stillness, through breath, through letting go. And as that safety deepens, your awareness begins to soften. The edges of your thoughts become less sharp, less demanding. They no longer feel like something you need to follow. They begin to fade into the background, like distant echoes that no longer require attention. And in their place, a deeper quiet begins to emerge, a quiet that feels steady, a quiet that feels grounding, a quiet that feels like it has always been here, beneath everything else. And as you rest in that quiet, you may begin to feel your body becoming heavier, but in a comforting way, like you are being gently placed down into something soft, something supportive, something that holds you completely. And you don't resist that feeling. You allow it, you welcome it, because it feels like rest, real rest, the kind of rest your body has been waiting for. And as you allow yourself to sink into that support, your breath continues to guide you. Each inhale, soft, subtle. Each exhale, releasing, letting go. And with every exhale, you may feel yourself drifting a little further, a little deeper, as if the world around you is slowly fading, becoming less important, less present, less close, until all that remains is this internal sense of stillness, and even that stillness begins to deepen, like layers gently unfolding within you, one by one, softening, dissolving, releasing, and as those layers fall away, you may begin to notice something subtle, a quiet peace, spreading through your entire being, not loud, not dramatic, just steady, warm, present, like a gentle light, filling every part of you from within, and in that light there is no effort, no resistance, only acceptance, only ease, only surrender. And the more you allow that surrender, the deeper you go. Because surrender is not something you force, it's something you fall into, naturally, like sleep itself. And as your body continues to relax, your awareness begins to shift again. You are no longer fully focused outward. You are no longer pulled by the world around you. You are turning inward, gently, slowly, as if being guided by something soft and invisible toward deeper stillness. And with each moment, that stillness becomes more complete, more immersive, more real, until even the sensation of your body begins to feel distant, light, almost weightless, and yet at the same time deeply grounded, as if you are floating and resting at once, held perfectly between letting go and being held. And in that in-between space there is peace, a deep, unwavering peace that doesn't depend on anything external. It simply exists within you, around you, and as you remain here. In this peaceful state, your mind continues to quiet. Thoughts become fewer, slower, more distant, until they no longer feel like part of you, just passing movement far away, and you are no longer engaging with them. You are simply observing the quiet, resting in the absence of urgency, resting in the absence of noise, resting in the gentle rhythm of being. And as that rhythm continues, your body sinks even deeper, your muscles loosen even further, your breath becomes softer still, until it almost feels like your breathing itself is happening without you. And that is okay. That is safe. That is exactly what your body needs right now. Because in this state, everything begins to repair, everything begins to restore, everything begins to settle, and you don't have to think about any of that. You don't have to guide it. You don't have to understand it. It's already happening, quietly, deeply, naturally. And as you continue to rest in this deep safety, something even more subtle begins to unfold, a sense of drifting, not movement in any direction, but a soft release of awareness, as if you are gently slipping away from wakefulness and into something more restful, more peaceful, more quiet. And there is no resistance in that drift, only ease, only softness, only surrender. And the more you allow yourself to drift, the deeper the calm becomes, spreading through every part of you, until there is nothing left to hold, nothing left to do, nothing left to think, just this pure, quiet stillness. And from here, you continue moving gently, effortlessly, into the next layer of calm, where your body relaxes even more, your mind grows even quieter, and your awareness begins to fade softly into deeper rest. From this place, your body begins to feel a quiet sense of healing, as if something deep within you is slowly starting to reset, not in a sudden way, not in a forceful way, but in a soft, natural unfolding, like the body remembering its own ability to restore balance, to repair, to return to ease. And you don't need to guide that healing. You don't need to understand how it happens, because your body already knows. It has always known. And right now, you are simply allowing it the space to do what it naturally does, when everything else becomes quiet enough. So just stay here, in this gentle stillness, and notice. Notice the subtle changes happening within you. Maybe there is a soft warmth spreading through your chest, or a gentle lightness in your limbs, or a quiet easing in places that once felt tight. And even if you don't notice anything clearly, that's okay too, because healing doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes it happens beneath awareness, quietly, steadily, without needing to be seen. And as you continue to rest, your breath becomes a part of that healing process. Each inhale bringing in softness, calm, ease. Each exhale releasing anything still left behind, anything your body no longer needs. And with every breath out, you may feel a little more space opening within you. Space where tension once lived, space where thoughts once gathered, space where effort once existed, now replaced with stillness, with quiet, with gentle openness. And in that openness, something begins to settle, your nervous system, your mind, your entire being, beginning to shift into a deeper state of restoration, not sleep yet, not fully awake either, but somewhere in between, where healing feels the most natural. And as you remain in this in-between space, you may begin to notice that your awareness is becoming softer, less focused on anything specific, more diffused, more spacious, as if you are no longer looking outward, but simply resting within yourself. And that inner space feels calm, it feels steady, it feels safe, and that safety allows your body to go even deeper, deeper into relaxation, deeper into release, deeper into healing. And with each passing moment, your body continues to respond. Muscles that were still slightly engaged, now fully letting go. Your breathing slow, even, effortless. Your heartbeat calm, steady, almost like a soft rhythm guiding everything into balance. And your mind continues to quiet, thoughts appearing less often and fading more quickly, until they no longer feel important enough to hold on to. And you don't hold on to them. You simply let them go. And in letting them go, you begin to feel something else, a deeper sense of comfort, a sense that you are being supported completely in this moment, not just physically, but emotionally, mentally, energetically, everything within you being gently held. And that feeling of being held allows even more release, even more softness, even more surrender. Because when you feel truly supported, you no longer need to protect yourself in the same way. You no longer need to stay alert. You no longer need to stay tense. You can simply let go, and as you let go, your body sinks deeper into that support, like falling into something soft, something warm, something endlessly calming. And with that sinking comes deeper relaxation, a relaxation that moves beyond muscles, beyond breath, into something more subtle, something that touches your entire system like a wave of calm, slowly spreading through every layer of your being. And as that wave moves through you, it gently dissolves anything still holding on, anything still tight, anything still active, until there is only softness, only ease, only quiet presence. And in that presence, there is no need to do anything, no need to reach anything, no need to become anything, just being, just resting, just allowing. And as you continue to allow, something even deeper begins to unfold, a sense of drifting, not in a physical sense, but in awareness, as if your mind is slowly floating away from the surface of thought and into deeper stillness. And you don't resist that drift. You don't try to hold on to wakefulness. You allow it, because it feels natural. It feels safe. It feels like exactly what your body has been moving toward all along. And as you drift, everything becomes quieter. Even the sense of time begins to soften. Moments feel less defined, less structured, more fluid, as if time itself is slowing down just for you, so you can rest more deeply, more completely, and in that slowing, your awareness continues to fade gently, not disappearing, just softening, becoming less engaged with anything external, and more immersed in this inner calm. And within that calm, there is healing, not something you need to see, not something you need to measure, but something you can feel in the background, a quiet restoration, a gentle rebuilding, a soft returning to balance, and your body continues to follow that process naturally, without effort, without instruction, just responding to the conditions of stillness, of safety, of surrender. And as this continues, you may begin to feel yourself becoming even lighter, or perhaps even heavier, both sensations blending together in a way that feels comforting, like you are no longer fully anchored to anything, and yet still completely supported, floating and grounded at the same time. And that paradox itself becomes soothing, because it means there is nothing you need to figure out, nothing you need to control, just this experience unfolding on its own. And as it unfolds, your breath becomes almost invisible, so soft, so quiet, that it feels like part of the silence itself. And in that silence, healing continues, deeper now, more complete, more profound, until even the idea of effort begins to fade, and you are left with nothing but stillness, pure, gentle, uninterrupted stillness. And from here, you continue to drift even further into the next layer of calm, where your awareness softens completely and your body moves effortlessly into deeper rest. As you drift, everything becomes quieter, slower, more distant, until there is only a soft sense of being calm, still, and completely at ease. And in this space, you may begin to notice something very subtle, something almost unexplainable, a feeling that you are no longer carrying yourself in the same way, as if your body and your awareness are beginning to separate from effort itself, and instead, everything is simply happening on its own. Breathing is happening, resting is happening, letting go is happening, and you are not doing any of it. You are simply allowing it, and that allowing is where the deepest rest begins. So just stay here, in this quiet unfolding, and notice how even the smallest sensations begin to soften. The weight of your body feels different now, not heavy in a tiring way, but heavy in a safe way, like sinking into something that was always meant to hold you, something steady, something calm, something deeply supportive. And as you rest into that support, your awareness begins to fade from the edges. The outer world becomes less important, sounds become distant, thoughts become less frequent, and what remains is this quiet inner space, a space that feels vast, open, and incredibly peaceful. And the more you notice it, the more it expands, not because you are trying to expand it, but because you are no longer filling it with effort, no longer filling it with resistance, no longer filling it with control. And in that emptiness, there is comfort, there is ease, there is a kind of peaceful fullness that comes only when everything unnecessary has been allowed to fall away. And as that continues, your body responds even more deeply. Muscles soften further, breathing slows further. The rhythm of your entire system becomes steady, calm, effortless, as if your body has now fully accepted this moment as rest, not partial rest, not surface rest, but complete rest. And there is something deeply natural about that acceptance, something your body recognizes instantly, because this is what it has always known how to do when given the chance, when given the space, when given the stillness. And right now, you are giving it exactly that. And so, layer by layer, everything begins to settle, like sediment in still water. Everything that was once active, now becoming quiet. Everything that was once moving, now becoming still. And as stillness deepens, your awareness begins to soften in a very gentle way. You are no longer focused on anything specific, no longer attached to any direction, just drifting, quietly, softly, as if you are being carried by something invisible, something calm, something deeply soothing, and there is no resistance in that drift. Only trust, only ease, only surrender. And as you continue to surrender, your thoughts become even more distant, almost like echoes fading far away, no longer forming clear patterns, no longer demanding attention, just passing movement, dissolving into silence, and in their place, a deeper quiet begins to emerge, a quiet that feels stable, a quiet that feels grounded, a quiet that feels like it has always been here, waiting beneath everything else. And now you are resting inside it, fully, completely, without effort. And as you rest in that quiet, something even more profound begins to unfold. A sense of expansion, not physical expansion, but awareness expanding, softly, gently, as if the boundaries of your experience are dissolving, and you are becoming less defined, less contained, more open, more spacious, like the sky at night, vast, endless, peaceful. And within that spaciousness, there is nothing to hold, nothing to fix, nothing to do, just presence, just awareness, just being. And that beingness is enough, more than enough. It is everything you need in this moment. And as you stay in that space, your body continues to deepen its relaxation so completely now that even the sensation of effort feels far away, almost forgotten, and what remains is only softness, only stillness, only calm. And within that calm, something very subtle begins to shift again. A deeper letting go, not of thoughts, not of tension, but of the very need to stay engaged, as if your awareness itself is beginning to release its grip. And that release feels natural, like returning to something you never truly left, a deeper layer of rest, a quieter dimension of calm. And as you enter that space, everything becomes even more peaceful, even more still, even more distant, until the experience of doing disappears completely, and you are left in pure presence, just being here, just existing, just resting. And from that place, there is no direction left, no path forward, no need to return, only this endless calm, this soft silence, this deep, steady stillness. And as you remain here, your awareness continues to drift, gently, effortlessly, deeper into that stillness, where even the idea of movement begins to fade, and all that remains is the quiet presence of rest, carrying you further and further into sleep. And from this place, everything begins to slow even more, as if the entire experience is gently lowering itself into deeper silence, deeper softness, deeper rest. And you may notice that even your awareness feels quieter now, less active, less involved, almost like it is resting too. There is nothing you need to follow anymore, nothing you need to track, nothing you need to hold on to, just this gentle unfolding of deeper calm. And as you remain here, something very subtle begins to happen within you. a quiet sense of release that goes even beyond thoughts, beyond breath, beyond sensation. It feels like letting go at the deepest level, not of something specific, but of everything at once. And that release feels safe. It feels natural. It feels like your body and mind have been waiting for this exact moment to finally stop, to finally soften completely, to finally rest without interruption. And as you allow that release, your breathing becomes even softer, almost fading into the background, like a distant rhythm, no longer something you control, but something that is simply happening on its own, in and out, slow and steady, almost silent. And with each exhale, there is a deeper sinking, a deeper letting go, a deeper return to stillness. And you don't resist it, because there is nothing in you that needs to resist anymore. Everything is already settling. Everything is already quiet. Everything is already enough. And as that sense of enoughness spreads through you, your body begins to feel completely supported, as if you are resting not just on a surface, but within something soft, something infinite, something deeply calming. And that support allows every remaining layer of tension to dissolve gently, naturally, without effort. Your forehead smooth, your jaw relaxed, your shoulders fully released, your chest open and easy, your stomach soft, your entire body moving deeper into comfort. And with each layer that releases, your mind becomes quieter. Thoughts are no longer forming clearly. They are fading before they even fully appear, like distant ripples disappearing into still water. And what remains is silence, a deep, steady, peaceful silence that feels like it has always been here, and now you are simply resting inside it. And in this silence, something even more profound unfolds, a sense of timelessness, as if the idea of time itself is no longer relevant. No past, no future, only this endless now, soft, still, infinite. And in that timeless space, your awareness begins to drift even further, not upward, not outward, but inward, deeper into the center of stillness, where nothing moves, nothing changes, nothing demands attention. And that stillness feels alive, not empty, but full of quiet presence, full of peace, full of something deeply grounding and deeply comforting. And as you rest there, you may begin to feel as if your entire being is dissolving into that stillness, not disappearing, but blending, becoming one with calm itself, one with silence, one with rest. And there is no fear in that, only surrender, only ease, only release. And the more you allow that release, the more effortless everything becomes. Breathing happens, resting happens, letting go happens, and you are simply here, witnessing it all softly, without effort, without control, without resistance. And in that witnessing, something even deeper opens, a quiet expansion of awareness, as if the boundaries of you begin to soften, and there is just experience flowing gently without edges. And in that flow, there is peace, a peace that does not depend on anything, a peace that does not need anything, a peace that simply is. And as you rest in that peace, your body continues to sink deeper. Your awareness continues to soften. Your thoughts continue to fade, until everything becomes one simple feeling, stillness, and that stillness holds you completely, not as something outside you, but as something you are inside of. And from here, there is nothing left to do, nothing left to become, nothing left to reach, only this quiet, endless resting. And as you remain in that resting, your awareness begins to drift once more, gently, softly, beyond thought, beyond effort, beyond awareness itself, into deeper and deeper calm, where even silence becomes softer, and sleep begins to take you further and further into rest. And as you move deeper within, your senses begin to soften even more, as if the boundary between your body and the space around you is gently dissolving, not suddenly, not in any noticeable way, but slowly, like mist fading into the quiet of night. Sounds that may still be present feel farther away now, less defined, less important, almost like they belong to another place, another time, and you don't need to reach for them, or interpret them, or respond to them. Because here, in this space, nothing is asking anything from you. Nothing is demanding your attention. Nothing is pulling you outward. And that realization alone allows something deeper to open inside you. A sense of inward turning, soft, natural, effortless, as if your awareness is gently folding back into itself, layer by layer, returning home to a place that has always been quiet, always been still, always been waiting. And as that inward movement continues, your breathing becomes even more subtle, almost invisible, like a whisper moving through silence. You are still breathing, but it feels like the body is doing it for you, without instruction, without effort, thought, soft, out softer, and with each exhale, there is a quiet release, not of something specific, but of everything unnecessary, every lingering tension, every remaining trace of alertness, every small grip on wakefulness, all of it gently loosening, all of it slowly dissolving. And you may begin to notice something beautiful happening in this stillness, a widening of space inside you, not physical space, but inner space, a spaciousness that feels open, calm, and completely safe, as if your mind is no longer a crowded place, but an open sky at night, vast, quiet, endless, and within that sky, even thoughts that try to form cannot stay for long. They appear softly, then drift away, without effort, without resistance, because there is nothing in you now that needs to hold on to them, nothing that needs to analyze them, nothing that needs to continue them. And so they fade, naturally, like ripples smoothing out on still water. And what remains underneath all of that is silence, not empty silence, but full silence, alive silence, a silence that feels like comfort itself. And as you rest inside that silence, your body continues its descent into deeper relaxation. Muscles that once held subtle tension now completely let go, your jaw unclenched, your shoulders fully dropped, your chest open, calm, steady, your stomach soft, unguarded, your legs heavy in the most peaceful way, as if your entire physical form is no longer holding itself together, but being gently held by something greater, something quieter, something deeply supportive, and in that support there is no effort required from you at all. You are not maintaining anything, you are not controlling anything, you are simply being carried. And that experience of being carried creates an even deeper level of trust inside you, a trust that nothing needs to be done right now. a trust that everything is already settling on its own, a trust that your body knows exactly how to rest. And as that trust deepens, your awareness begins to soften again. The edges of you become less defined, less sharp, less separate, until it feels like you are no longer observing rest, but becoming rest itself, becoming stillness, becoming calm. And in that becoming, there is no effort left at all, only flow, only surrender, only gentle presence, and even that presence begins to fade into something more subtle, as if you are no longer focusing on anything at all, just existing in a soft, boundless quiet, where time no longer feels structured, where moments no longer feel separate, where everything becomes one continuous field of calm, and in that field your mind no longer searches, it no longer reaches, it no longer moves outward, it simply rests, and as it rests, something profound begins to happen, a deeper settling, like everything inside you is slowly finding its final place of stillness. No more adjustment, no more shifting, just complete ease, complete quiet, complete release. And from here, even awareness itself begins to soften further, not disappearing, but thinning, like light fading gently at the end of day. Not gone, just resting, and you remain in that resting, fully supported, fully calm, fully at ease, and in that ease there is nothing left to hold, nothing left to chase, nothing left to become, only this moment, only this breath, only this endless soft stillness, guiding you deeper and deeper, beyond thought, beyond sensation, beyond effort, into a place where sleep is no longer coming. It is already here, gently taking you in, and as you float in this quiet inner space, time begins to lose its meaning even more, as if the idea of before and after is gently dissolving, leaving only this soft endless now. There is nothing you need to measure here, nothing you need to track, nothing you need to understand, because this is not a place of thinking, this is a place of resting, a place of letting go, a place of simply being, and as you allow yourself to stay here a little longer, something very subtle begins to deepen inside you, a feeling of sinking, not downward in any physical sense, but inward, into deeper layers of calm, as if your awareness is gently moving through soft levels of quiet. Each layer feels more peaceful than the last, more still, more effortless. And you don't have to guide this movement, you don't have to control it, it is happening naturally. Just like sleep arrives when it is ready, not when it is forced. And right now, your entire system is preparing for that deeper rest. So just notice how even your thoughts are becoming softer now, not stopping completely, just losing strength, losing urgency, losing importance, like distant echoes fading into a vast space. And in that fading, something very beautiful emerges, a sense of emotional quiet, not emptiness, but relief, as if something inside you is finally allowed to stop holding on, finally allowed to stop bracing, finally allowed to soften completely. And that softening spreads through you, through your chest, through your shoulders, through your stomach, through your entire nervous system, like a gentle wave of calm moving through every layer of your being. And with that wave comes a deeper release, not something you do, but something you allow. A release of effort, a release of control, a release of everything that has been slightly on inside you. And as that turns off, gently, quietly, naturally, you begin to feel something very comforting, a kind of inner weightlessness, as if your body is still here, but your awareness is floating just slightly above it, light, calm, unattached, and safe. Always safe. because in this space, nothing can reach you in a way that disturbs you. Nothing can pull you out of this calm. Nothing can break this stillness. And your body knows that. Your mind is beginning to trust that. And so it relaxes even more, deeper than before, more complete than before. And as that happens, your breathing becomes even quieter, so soft now that it almost feels like silence breathing itself through you, in, almost disappearing, out, almost vanishing. And in that rhythm, you begin to feel carried, not by anything outside you, but by your own calm, as if your body and breath are working together to gently guide you further inward, further downward into stillness, further into that peaceful place where everything slows, everything softens, everything lets go. And you may notice now there is less separation between you and the calm. You are not experiencing calm anymore. You are becoming it, and that shift changes everything. Because when you become calm, there is nothing left to resist, nothing left to chase, nothing left to fix, only presence, only stillness, only quiet being. And in that being, your awareness begins to expand softly, not outward, but inward, like opening into a deeper space within yourself, a space that feels vast, gentle, and completely free of tension. And the deeper you go into that space, the more everything else fades. The world feels farther away. Your thoughts feel more distant. Even your body feels lighter in awareness, as if you are no longer fully inside it, but gently resting within it, like a soft echo of presence. And that sensation is deeply peaceful, because there is nothing demanding you now, nothing needing your attention, nothing requiring effort, just this endless softness, this quiet unfolding, this deep, steady calm. And as you remain here, something even more subtle begins to happen. A final layer of letting go, a release not just of thoughts, not just of tension, but of the need to stay aware in any active way. And as that dissolves, you slip even deeper into a place where awareness is no longer sharp, but soft, diffuse, and dreamlike, where everything becomes simpler, slower, quieter, until even silence feels like it is holding you. And from here, there is nothing left to do, nothing left to follow, nothing left to hold, only this gentle descent, this soft drifting, this quiet surrender into deeper and deeper rest. And as you continue to drift, sleep begins to move closer, not suddenly, not abruptly, but like a gentle tide, slowly carrying you further and further into peace. And as you continue to drift, something very gentle begins to happen within you, a soft fading of awareness at the edges, as if your attention is no longer pointing outward at all, but slowly turning inward, deeper, quieter, more still. There is nothing you need to focus on now, nothing you need to understand, nothing you need to follow, because everything you need is already happening on its own. Your breath continues soft, steady, almost like it belongs to the silence now. Your body continues to rest, heavier, calmer, more deeply supported, and your mind begins to loosen its final layers of activity. Thoughts may still appear, but they are faint now, distant, almost like echoes in another room, no longer pulling you, no longer shaping your awareness, just passing, just dissolving, just fading gently into stillness. And in that fading, something very peaceful opens inside you, a sense of surrender that feels complete, not forced, not decided, but naturally unfolding, like something your entire being has been preparing for. And now It is simply happening. You are letting go, more deeply than before, more fully than before. And with that letting go, there is a subtle shift in your awareness, as if the you that was observing everything is becoming softer, less defined, more diffuse, no longer standing apart from the experience, but gently merging with it, becoming part of the calm itself, part of the silence itself, part of the stillness itself. And that merging feels incredibly safe, incredibly natural, like returning to something you never truly left. And as you rest in that sense of return, your body continues to soften even further. Every muscle, every nerve, every subtle layer of tension beginning to release in its own way, not all at once, but in waves, gentle waves of relaxation moving through you, one after another, each one deeper than the last, each one quieter than the last. And you don't need to track them, you don't need to guide them, you simply allow them, and in allowing them, they move more freely, they dissolve more completely, and your entire system begins to settle into a deeper equilibrium, a deeper balance, a deeper calm, and it feels as if everything inside you is now aligning with stillness, matching its rhythm, matching its silence, matching its peace, and in that alignment, there is no effort left, no resistance left, no tension left to maintain, only softness, only quiet, only gentle awareness that is slowly becoming less and less defined. And as that awareness softens, something beautiful happens. You begin to feel less separate from the space around you, as if the boundary between you and rest is becoming thinner, more transparent, more dissolved, until there is no clear separation at all, only experience, only stillness, only calm, and in that calm you may notice a deeper sinking sensation, not downward, but inward, like falling gently into layers of quiet within yourself, each layer softer than the last, each layer more peaceful than the one before. And you don't resist this sinking because it feels like home, it feels like safety, it feels like release, and with every breath you go deeper, with every exhale you let go more, with every moment you drift further into stillness, and that stillness is not empty, it is full, full of quiet presence, full of gentle ease, full of a deep, steady peace that does not need anything to sustain it. It simply is, and as you remain in that peace, your awareness begins to thin even more. Thoughts are almost gone now. Only soft impressions remain, barely forming, barely noticeable, and even those begin to fade, as if the mind itself is stepping back, resting, becoming quiet, and in that quiet there is only calm, endless calm, soft, steady, uninterrupted, and you are resting inside it, completely, effortlessly, naturally, and from here there is nothing left to do, nothing left to reach, nothing left to become, only this gentle unfolding, this deepening stillness, this soft surrender into something even quieter than silence. And as you continue to drift in that silence, sleep begins to approach more closely now, not as an interruption, but as a continuation of this calm, carrying you gently, deeper and deeper, into rest. And as you continue to drift, something very gentle begins to deepen even further within you, a quiet sense of sinking, not into sleep yet, not fully awake either, but into that soft in-between space where everything feels slower, lighter, and more peaceful. There is nothing you need to hold on to now, nothing you need to maintain, nothing you need to control, because even the idea of control is beginning to dissolve softly, naturally, like mist disappearing into still air. And in that fading, your awareness becomes quieter, less focused, less defined, as if it is no longer pointing outward at anything at all, but simply resting within itself. And that resting feels incredibly safe, incredibly calm, like your entire system has finally stopped searching and started settling. And as you settle, your breath continues its gentle rhythm, almost unnoticeable now, soft enough to blend into silence, in, quiet, out, quieter. And with each exhale, something releases. Not something specific, not something you need to name, but a general softening, a letting go, a gentle loosening of everything that is not needed in this moment. And you don't need to guide that release. You don't need to understand it. It is happening naturally, because your body knows how to return to calm. It always has. And now you are simply allowing it. And as you allow it, your body responds even more deeply. The weight you feel is no longer just physical. It is a comforting heaviness, a grounding softness, like being gently held by something vast, something stable, something deeply peaceful. And there is no resistance in that holding. Only surrender, only ease, only quiet acceptance. And with that acceptance, your awareness begins to shift again. It is no longer anchored to thoughts, no longer attached to sensations. It is becoming more fluid, more spacious, more like a gentle drifting presence, floating without direction, moving without effort, being without definition. And in that state, something very subtle begins to unfold, a deep internal quiet that feels almost infinite, not empty, but open, expansive, endlessly calm, like a soft horizon inside your mind, stretching farther than thought can reach, and you are resting right within it, completely, naturally, without needing to do anything at all. And as you rest there, thoughts become even more distant, almost like faint ripples on a faraway surface. They appear, but they no longer affect you. They move, but they no longer pull you. And slowly, they begin to dissolve completely, leaving behind only silence, a deep, steady, uninterrupted silence. And that silence is not absence. It is presence, a calm presence that fills every part of your awareness, soft, gentle, unmoving. And in that presence, your body begins to soften even further, as if every remaining trace of tension is being quietly released, layer by layer, breath by breath, moment by moment, until there is nothing left to hold, nothing left to tighten, nothing left to maintain, only softness, only stillness, only rest. And as that rest deepens, something very beautiful happens. You begin to feel as if you are no longer separate from the calm itself, as if you are not inside it, but are it. The calm is not something you experience anymore. It is what you are becoming. And in that becoming, everything simplifies, everything quiets, everything slows, until even the sense of you begins to fade into something more gentle, more spacious, more peaceful. And there is no fear in that fading, only relief, only release, only surrender, because it feels like returning to something deeply familiar, something that has always been here, beneath everything else. And now it is all that remains. And as you rest in that space, your awareness begins to drift even further, softly, effortlessly, beyond the edges of thought, beyond the edges of sensation, beyond the edges of awareness itself. And what remains is only stillness, pure stillness, endless stillness, a stillness that carries you gently, without asking anything from you, without needing anything from you, just holding you softly as you continue to move deeper and deeper into rest, where sleep is no longer something coming, it is something already unfolding, all around you, within you, through you. And as you continue to rest in this deep stillness, something very subtle begins to shift once again, not in any way that disturbs you, not in any way that pulls you out, but in a way that takes you even deeper, even softer, even further into calm. It feels like your entire awareness is slowly dimming, like a light being gently lowered, not turned off, just softened, just eased, just made more gentle, until everything feels more distant, more peaceful, more quiet, and there is nothing you need to resist in that dimming, nothing you need to hold on to, nothing you need to keep awake, because even wakefulness itself is no longer something you are trying to maintain, and that is okay, that is safe, that is exactly what your body has been moving toward, and as you allow that natural movement, your breathing continues. But it feels more like a background rhythm now, something that is happening on its own, something you no longer need to observe closely. In, soft like a whisper. Out, fading like a wave, returning to the sea. And with every breath out, you may feel yourself slipping a little deeper, not downward, but inward, as if you are gently descending through layers of calm inside yourself, each layer quieter than the last, each layer softer than the one before. And you don't need to count them, you don't need to track them. You are simply moving through them naturally, effortlessly. And as you move through them, your thoughts continue to fade, not because you are pushing them away, but because there is nothing left for them to attach to, no effort, no tension, no engagement, just stillness. And in that stillness, thoughts become like distant echoes, faint, fragile, dissolving before they fully form, and soon even those echoes begin to disappear, leaving only silence, a silence that feels vast, a silence that feels deep, a silence that feels like it has no beginning and no end. And within that silence, something very comforting begins to emerge, a sense of being held, not by anything physical, but by the stillness itself, as if the silence is gently supporting you, surrounding you, carrying you. And there is nothing you need to do to maintain that support. It is simply there, constant, soft, steady, and as you rest in that support, your body begins to release even more deeply. Any remaining tension that you didn't even realize was there begins to soften, muscles relaxing further, breath slowing further, heartbeat settling further, until everything within you begins to match the rhythm of calm. And that calm is not fragile. It is deep, stable, unmoving, like the stillness at the bottom of a quiet ocean, and you are sinking gently into it, not falling, not drifting away, but being gently received by it. And that receiving feels incredibly safe, incredibly natural, like your entire system recognizes this place, as if it has been here before, or maybe has always been here, and now you are simply remembering it. And as that recognition deepens, your awareness becomes even softer. The sense of thinking begins to fade. The sense of observing begins to dissolve. And what remains is only presence, pure presence, quiet presence, a presence that does not need direction, does not need focus, does not need effort, just stillness. And in that stillness, everything becomes simpler, everything becomes quieter, everything becomes slower, until even the idea of time feels distant, almost irrelevant, as if time itself has softened around you, stretching into endless calm. And within that calm, you are free, free from expectation, free from effort, free from noise, free from anything that once required your attention. And in that freedom, there is rest, deep rest, the kind of rest that goes beyond sleep, the kind of rest that feels like returning to something essential within you, something that was always there, beneath everything else. And as you remain here, gently floating in this quiet presence, you may notice that even awareness itself is becoming softer, less defined, more fluid, almost dreamlike, as if you are no longer fully holding a point of focus, but gently existing within awareness itself, and that awareness is calm, endless, soft, and completely still, and from here there is nothing left to reach, nothing left to become, nothing left to do, only this deep, unfolding stillness, only this gentle surrender, only this quiet drifting. And as you continue to drift in that stillness, sleep begins to draw closer now, not as something separate, but as a continuation of this calm, carrying you gently, fully, completely into deeper rest. And as you continue resting in this deeper calm, something very gentle begins to unfold within you, a sense that everything is now slowing down even further, not in a noticeable way, not in a sudden shift, but in a quiet, almost invisible softening, like the entire experience is being wrapped in thicker stillness. You may begin to feel as if even your awareness is no longer standing at the surface of anything, no longer reaching outward, no longer searching, just gently floating within a deeper layer of quiet, and there is nothing you need to hold on to here, nothing you need to track, nothing you need to understand, because everything is already settling on its own, effortlessly, naturally. And as that settling continues, your breathing becomes even softer now, almost blending completely with silence, in, barely noticeable, out, almost disappearing, and with each exhale you sink a little deeper, not downward, but inward, into a quieter part of yourself, a place where everything feels slower, more distant, more peaceful, and thoughts, if they appear at all, are faint now, like distant impressions, without weight, without urgency, without direction. They arise and fade before they even fully form, and you don't follow them, you don't engage with them, because there is nothing in you now that needs to chase thought, nothing that needs to solve anything, nothing that needs to continue anything, only stillness, and that stillness is becoming more complete, more immersive, more absolute, as if you are now fully inside it, completely surrounded by it, completely held by it. And that feeling of being held brings a deeper release, a release that goes beyond physical relaxation, beyond mental quiet, into something more subtle, a letting go of effort itself, a letting go of the need to remain aware in any active way. And as that letting go happens, your awareness begins to soften even more. The edges of your experience become less defined, less structured, more fluid, as if everything is gently dissolving into one continuous field of calm. No separation, no boundaries, just presence, just stillness, just quiet being. And in that being, something very peaceful opens within you, a sense of timelessness again, but even deeper now, as if there is no longer a distinction between moments, no longer a sense of passing time, only this endless now, soft, still, infinite. And within that infinity, you are completely at ease. There is nothing pulling you, nothing requiring you, nothing disturbing you, only this gentle unfolding of rest. And as you remain here, something very subtle begins to happen in your body, a final wave of relaxation, moving through you slowly, almost imperceptibly, starting at the top of your head, softening everything it touches, your forehead smooth, your eyes heavy, your jaw completely relaxed, moving down through your neck, your shoulders, releasing the last traces of holding, flowing through your chest, your stomach, your back, dissolving every remaining layer of tension down through your arms, your hands, your fingertips, and further still into your hips, your legs, your feet, until your entire body feels like it is no longer being held together by effort, but simply resting, fully supported, fully surrendered. And as that physical surrender deepens, your mind follows naturally. Thoughts become quieter, more distant, almost non-existent now, like echoes fading into vast space, and what remains is only awareness, soft awareness, gentle awareness, and even that awareness is beginning to drift, not disappearing, just becoming lighter, less anchored, more dreamlike, as if you are no longer fully inside wakefulness, and not yet fully asleep, but moving somewhere between, a space where everything is softer, slower, quieter, and in that in-between space, something very comforting happens. You realize there is nothing left to do, nothing left to reach, nothing left to fix. Everything is already exactly as it needs to be in this moment. And that realization allows even deeper relaxation, even deeper surrender, because the mind no longer has anything to hold on to. And as it lets go, you drift further, gently, effortlessly, like being carried by a quiet current of stillness, moving you inward, downward, deeper into calm. And the deeper you go, the more everything simplifies, until even simplicity itself fades, leaving only pure presence, pure rest, pure silence. And from here, there is nothing left but this gentle continuation, this soft drifting, this endless unfolding into deeper calm, where sleep is no longer something approaching, but something already surrounding you, already holding you, already becoming you. And as you continue drifting in this deeper calm, something very soft begins to unfold again, not as a change, not as a shift you need to notice sharply, but as a gradual deepening, like the entire experience is sinking one layer further into stillness. Everything feels a little quieter now, a little slower, a little more distant, as if even awareness itself is beginning to relax, to soften, to let go of its own effort. And there is nothing you need to do with that, nothing you need to hold on to, nothing you need to follow, because even following feels unnecessary now. Everything is already moving in the direction of rest on its own, naturally, effortlessly. As that continues, your breathing becomes almost indistinguishable from silence. In, soft as fading air; out, quieter than thought. And with each exhale, you drift further inward into a deeper level of calm, where everything feels more spacious, more open, more still, and thoughts, if they appear at all, feel extremely faint now, like distant impressions at the edge of awareness, barely forming, barely noticeable, and already dissolving before they can take shape. And you don't engage with them, you don't need to, because there is nothing in you now that is searching for anything, nothing trying to fix anything, nothing trying to understand anything, only presence, only stillness, only this quiet unfolding. And as that stillness deepens, something very gentle happens inside your body, a soft release, not sudden, not dramatic, but continuous, like a wave slowly moving through every layer of you, releasing what is left, softening what remains, calming what is still slightly active, and your body responds easily now, as if it has fully accepted rest as its natural state. Shoulders completely dropped, jaw fully relaxed, chest open and easy, stomach soft and unguarded, legs heavy in the most peaceful way. Every part of you aligned with stillness, and in that alignment there is no effort left, no resistance left, only flow, and that flow is taking you deeper, gently, continuously, without interruption, as if you are being carried by something soft and invisible, something that knows exactly how to bring you into deeper calm, and you trust it, even without thinking about it. You trust it completely, and that trust allows everything to soften even more, because when there is trust, there is no need to hold on, no need to stay alert, no need to remain engaged, only letting go. And as you let go, awareness begins to change. It becomes less sharp, less structured, more fluid, more dreamlike, as if you are no longer observing your experience from a distance, but gently dissolving into it, becoming part of it. And that experience is calm, endless calm, a calm that does not depend on anything external, a calm that is simply present, always here, always steady, always soft. And as you remain in that calm, something even deeper begins to open, a sense of drifting without direction, not moving toward anything, not moving away from anything, just gently floating within stillness itself. And there is no fear in that drifting, only comfort, only ease, only surrender, because everything within you knows this is safe, this is natural, this is exactly where you are meant to be. And as that sense of safety deepens, your awareness continues to fade gently at the edges. The boundaries of thought become thinner. The sense of self becomes softer. The feeling of separation begins to dissolve until there is only experience, pure experience, without definition, without structure, without effort. And in that pure experience, everything is quiet, everything is still, everything is resting, and you are resting within it, completely, effortlessly, naturally. And from here, there is nothing left to reach, nothing left to do, nothing left to become, only this deepening stillness, this soft unfolding, this gentle drift into quieter and quieter layers of rest. And as you continue drifting, sleep begins to move closer again, not as something separate, but as a continuation of this calm, carrying you further and further into deep, peaceful rest. And as you continue to drift even deeper now, something very subtle begins to happen again, a soft shift, not noticeable in any sharp way, but more like a deepening of everything you are already experiencing, as if the stillness itself is becoming thicker, richer, more complete. There is nothing you need to adjust, nothing you need to correct, nothing you need to hold in place, because everything is already settling exactly as it should, naturally, quietly, effortlessly. And as that settling continues, your breathing becomes softer still, almost as if it belongs more to the silence than to you now. In, barely a whisper, out, fading into stillness. And with each exhale, you drift further into yourself, into deeper layers of calm, where everything feels slower, more distant, more peaceful, and thoughts, if they arise at all, feel extremely faint now, like soft echoes at the edge of awareness. They appear, but they do not stay. They dissolve before they even fully form, and you don't need to engage with them, because there is nothing in you now that is reaching outward, nothing searching, nothing analyzing, only quiet presence, only soft awareness, only this gentle unfolding into deeper rest. And as that presence deepens, your body begins to feel even more surrendered, as if every remaining layer of tension has been slowly, quietly, completely released. Muscles that once held subtle effort, now fully softened, your jaw relaxed beyond awareness, your shoulders resting deeply, your chest open and calm, your stomach completely at ease, your legs heavy in a comforting way, as if they are being gently supported by something steady and infinite, and that sense of support grows stronger, not outside of you, but within you, as if the stillness itself is holding you now, surrounding you, carrying you, and there is nothing you need to do to maintain it. It is simply there, constant, steady, unmoving, and that stability allows you to relax even more. Because when everything feels supported, there is no need to hold yourself up anymore. No need to remain alert. No need to maintain control. Only surrender. And as that surrender deepens, your awareness begins to soften again. The edges of your experience become less defined, less structured, more fluid, as if everything is gently melting into one continuous field of calm. No separation, no boundaries, no effort, just being, just resting, just existing in this quiet unfolding. And within that unfolding, something very peaceful emerges, a sense of vastness, as if the space inside you has expanded beyond limits. Not in a physical sense, but in awareness, a vast, open, quiet space where nothing is tight, nothing is restricted, everything is simply allowed to be. And in that vastness, there is deep comfort, because nothing is pressing against you, nothing is demanding anything from you. Everything is open, everything is soft, everything is still, and you are resting inside that stillness, completely, naturally, without effort. And as you remain here, something even more subtle begins to unfold, a deeper letting go, not of thoughts, not of tension, but of the need to stay engaged in any way at all, as if awareness itself is beginning to rest, to soften, to become less active, and that shift feels incredibly gentle, like sinking into deeper water, where everything becomes quieter, slower, more dreamlike, and you allow yourself to sink because there is nothing pulling you back, nothing holding you up, only this soft descent into deeper calm, and with that descent, everything simplifies, thoughts fade, sensations soften, time dissolves until only presence remains, pure, quiet, undivided presence. And even that presence begins to thin, becoming lighter, more diffuse, more peaceful, until it feels like you are no longer observing anything at all, just being, just resting, just existing in a field of stillness. And in that stillness, there is no direction left, no path forward, no need to return, only this gentle continuation, this soft drifting, this deepening silence that holds you completely. And as you continue drifting in that silence, sleep begins to move closer once again, not as something separate, but as a natural extension of this calm, gently carrying you deeper and deeper into rest. And as you drift even deeper now, something very quiet begins to happen again, not something sudden, not something noticeable in a sharp way, but something extremely gentle, like the entire experience is slowly becoming softer at its edges, more peaceful, more distant, more still. It feels as if everything around you, and even within you, is beginning to slow down further, like time itself is exhaling, releasing tension, letting go, and sinking into a deeper kind of calm, and you are sinking with it, not falling, not moving, but gently, effortlessly, being carried into quieter and quieter layers of rest. And there is nothing you need to resist in that movement, nothing you need to control, nothing you need to adjust, because everything is already unfolding exactly as it should, naturally, softly, without effort. And as that unfolding continues, your breathing becomes even more delicate now, almost blending into silence itself. In, like a fading whisper, out, like disappearing warmth, and with every exhale, you drift further inward into deeper stillness, where everything feels more open, more distant, more peaceful, and thoughts, if they appear at all, are extremely faint now, like distant echoes dissolving into vast space. They do not stay, they do not form fully, they simply arise and fade before they can reach you, and you are no longer engaging with them, because there is nothing in you now that is reaching outward, nothing searching, nothing holding on, only this quiet inward resting, this soft surrender, this deepening stillness. And as that stillness grows, your body begins to feel even more completely let go, as if every remaining trace of effort has now dissolved entirely. Muscles that once held subtle tension are now fully relaxed, your jaw completely at ease, your shoulders resting deeply, your chest open, calm, steady, your stomach soft and unguarded, your legs heavy in the most peaceful way imaginable. And that heaviness is not discomfort, it is comfort itself, a grounding softness that tells your entire system, you can rest now, and that message spreads through you, quietly, naturally, without resistance, because your body already knows how to respond, it already knows how to relax, it already knows how to return to balance, and right now, it is doing exactly that. And as that return continues, your awareness begins to soften again. The edges of your experience become less defined, less structured, more fluid, as if everything is gently dissolving into one continuous field of calm. No separation, no boundaries, no effort, only presence, only stillness, only being, and within that being, something very subtle opens, a sense of vast inner space, not empty, but open, endless, calm beyond description, as if you are resting inside something infinitely soft, something that holds you without pressure, without demand, without expectation. And in that holding, there is deep comfort, because nothing is asking anything from you now. Nothing is pulling you anywhere. Nothing is requiring your attention. Only this gentle, endless calm. And as you rest within it, something even deeper begins to unfold. A quiet release of awareness itself, as if even the act of observing is becoming softer, less active, more passive, more dreamlike. And you begin to feel as if you are no longer separate from the calm, not watching it, not experiencing it, but becoming it. And that shift changes everything, because when you become calm, there is nothing left to resist, nothing left to hold, nothing left to manage. Softness, only stillness, only surrender, and in that surrender, everything becomes simpler, everything becomes quieter, everything becomes slower, until even the idea of you begins to feel distant, like something gently fading at the edges, not disappearing, just softening, becoming less defined, and in its place there is only experience, pure experience, without structure, without separation, without effort. And that experience is peaceful, endlessly peaceful, like resting inside silence itself. And as you remain in that silence, something very gentle continues to happen, a deeper sinking, not downward, not outward, but inward into quieter and quieter layers of calm, each layer softer than the last, each layer more still than the one before. And you don't resist this sinking, because it feels natural, it feels safe, it feels like returning to something you never truly left. And as you continue to sink, everything simplifies again, thoughts fade, sensations soften, awareness thins, until only stillness remains. And even that stillness begins to feel like it is breathing you, holding you, carrying you. And from here, there is nothing left to do, nothing left to reach, nothing left to become, only this deep unfolding, this gentle drifting, this endless quiet descent into calm. And as you continue drifting in that calm, sleep begins to move closer once again, not as something separate from you, but as something you are already entering, gently, softly, completely. And now, as you reach this final layer of stillness, something very soft begins to happen. Almost like everything that has been gently unfolding throughout this entire journey is now settling into its deepest level, its quietest form, its most peaceful state. There is nothing left to reach, nothing left to explore, nothing left to hold, because everything has already softened, everything has already slowed, everything has already returned to calm, and you are simply here now, resting within it, completely, naturally, without effort. And as you rest here, even the sense of movement begins to fade, not because anything is stopping, but because there is nothing left that needs to move. Only stillness, only quiet presence, only this deep, endless calm that surrounds you completely. And in that calm, your breathing continues, but it feels almost like silence breathing through you now. In, soft as fading light, out, dissolving into peace. And with each exhale, there is a final letting go, not of something specific, but of everything that remains even slightly active within awareness. Every trace of effort, every trace of holding, every trace of trying to remain aware, all of it gently dissolving, naturally, softly, completely. And as that dissolving continues, your body feels lighter and heavier at the same time, heavier in the most comforting way, as if you are being deeply supported, and lighter in awareness, as if you are no longer fully inside form, but gently floating within calm itself. And that paradox is deeply soothing, because it means there is nothing you need to resolve, nothing you need to figure out, nothing you need to maintain. Only surrender, only ease, only this gentle resting into stillness. And as that surrender deepens, your awareness becomes even softer, the edges of thought dissolve completely, the sense of time disappears, the feeling of separation fades, until everything becomes one continuous field of quiet, endless, soft, unmoving, and you are resting inside it, fully, completely, without resistance. And within that resting, something very profound becomes clear. There is nothing missing here, nothing incomplete, nothing unfinished. Everything is already exactly as it needs to be. And that realization brings the deepest release yet, because when nothing is missing, there is nothing left to chase. And when nothing is left to chase, there is nothing left to hold. And when nothing is left to hold, there is only peace, pure peace, deep peace, endless peace. And in that peace, your awareness begins to soften even further, almost like it is no longer trying to stay aware in any active sense, but simply existing quietly, gently, like a fading ripple dissolving into still water. And what remains is only presence, not focused, not directed, just present. And that presence is calm beyond words, a calm that does not change, a calm that does not depend on anything, a calm that simply is, always here, always steady, always still. And as you rest in that stillness, something final begins to unfold, a deep sense of completion, not as an ending, but as a return, as if everything has come full circle, and there is nowhere else to go, nothing else to do, nothing else to become. Only this quiet resting, only this soft drifting, only this gentle fading into deeper and deeper peace. And now, Even the need to follow words begins to dissolve, because the words themselves are becoming less important, less separate, more like background echoes in a vast silence, and you are no longer following them, you are simply resting beyond them, in the space they point to, in the calm they guide you toward. And that calm is now all that remains, surrounding you, holding you, becoming you, and from here there is nothing left to continue, because everything has already softened into stillness. Sleep is no longer something approaching. It is already here, gently, completely, carrying you deeper and deeper into peaceful rest.